Peace be with you, dear brothers and sisters. On behalf of the All Dulles Area Muslim Society, ADAMS, we welcome you to the 14th Annual ADAMS Peace Gathering and Law Enforcement and Public Safety Appreciation. Today we will remember the victims of 9/11 and we will thank our first responders. We will begin with a flag ceremony from the ADAMS Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, representing over 400 Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, and Venture Scouts here at the All Dulles Area Muslim Society. And I will turn it over to Mikhail to represent and do the calling.
Color Guard, attention. Audience, please rise. Color Guard, forward march. Salute. Those not in uniform, please place your right hand over your heart. Color Guard, halt. Color Guard, cross the colors. Color Guard, proudly post the flag of the United States of America. Color Guard, proudly post the flag of the great state of Virginia. Color Guard, honor your colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Color Guard, Scout sign. Please join me in the Scout oath and law. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. Color Guard, return to ranks. Color Guard, about face. Color Guard, forward march. Color Guard, halt. Audience, you may be seated.
Thank you, Scouts. We appreciate your service to God and country. I will now invite up Sister Farhanaz Ellis, the Interfaith Director of the ADAMS Center, also the past president of Loudoun Interfaith Bridges, and chaplain, to say the invocation, the opening prayer for today. I give you Sister Farhanaz Ellis.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to come together as brothers and sisters in humanity to share and cherish the memories of the family members, friends, countrymen, and countrywomen we lost on September 11, 2001. Oh God, let those memories be the fuel that compel us to make of ourselves better human beings who work for a better country in a better world. Help us, O God, to always remember them and to remember and honor those Americans that so unselfishly risked their lives then and those who risk their lives on a daily basis to protect us and to respond to our emergencies. Bless them and bless their families that also share in their sacrifice. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Sister Farhanaz. We appreciate your leadership and dedication, and thank you for the beautiful reflections. Dear brothers and sisters, we will start off actually with a recognition of one of our departments due to time constraint for them needing to be in Frederick, Maryland very shortly. And then we will hear remarks from the president of the All Dulles Area Muslim Society. But first, I would like to invite up Assistant Chief of Loudoun County Department of Fire and Rescue and Emergency Management, Matthew Tobiah. And we appreciate their leadership and dedication as first responders that are helping our community day in and day out. I'd like to ask him up here to receive the recognition, and would also like to ask his family to please stand as well. We appreciate their sacrifice day in and day out. And round of applause to the Loudoun County Fire and Rescue and their leadership. On behalf of the All Dulles Area Muslim Society, we appreciate your distinguished service and tireless dedication, recognizing Loudoun County Department of Fire, Rescue, and Emergency Management this 13th day of September, 2015.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Say a few words.
Thank you. On behalf of Chief Keith Brower and the more than 1,500 members of Loudoun County Combined Fire Rescue System career and volunteer emergency responders, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice on 9/11 and those who continue to serve every day in our communities to keep all of us safe. It is an honor to have the opportunity to serve in our communities and play a very small role in keeping our communities vibrant. I thank you for that.
Thank you so much, and we wish you a safe journey. They were with us since 5 p.m., and we truly appreciate them joining us. We met them at the Leesburg September 11th Remembrance, and appreciate them being here. And again, even actually, we had the Loudoun County Fire and Rescue here this Friday helping us out with fixing our flags that got snagged in the wind. And so we appreciate everything they do, from emergency response to helping, what they say, get a cat out of a tree. So thank you for everything that you do. Dear brothers and sisters, as we had mentioned, we are here in this 14th annual remembrance. I would like to remind our brothers and sisters that actually in 1999, the Adams community, when we were in Herndon, when we were a small community, we did our first Thanksgiving service to remember and thank the police, law enforcement, and first responders in our public safety. And after the horrific attacks of 9/11, where we recognized the wonderful efforts of our first responders, we thought we would bring together and make 9/11 a remembrance of remembering the victims and thanking our first responders. So ensued our focus on bringing together this service every year now for 14 years to thank our first responders and remember this tragedy, and to take the resilience of we as Americans coming together and uniting to overcome the challenges. And today, again, we recommit ourselves that we focus on peace and harmony. We pray for the defeat of terrorism and violent extremism. We condemn the terrorism and violent extremism. We remember the victims, and the victims of 9/11 were victims from all backgrounds, all nationalities, and we remember them all. The whole world was attacked on that day. And I know we can all remember where we were on that day. I know that it is something that it sticks with us. I remember going into the office right after the horrific tragedy had started and seeing the news. And I remember one of my friends who actually was near the Pentagon at the time at the Navy Annex, recounting the story of the airplane crossing over. And he had actually witnessed that. It brought tears into our eyes. And it's something that we still remember till today. I had colleagues from the company I work with that lost their lives. I know probably single one of you knew someone that lost their lives. We here at the Adams Center, one of our community members, Mr. Sharif Chaudhry, he lost his daughter and his son-in-law. I think the only couple that were victims in the World Trade Center in the horrific attacks of 9/11. Imam Muhammad Majid, our executive religious director, he actually did the funeral services for them several years later, after the DNA was verified. It took several years to verify the DNA of the family of Mr. Sharif Chaudhry. And so we remember them as members of our community that lost their lives. We also remember Balbir Singh Sodhi. He was the first hate crime victim of 9/11, a gas station owner in Mesa, Arizona. He was a member of the Sikh community. We also remember Muhammad Salman Hamdani, a Muslim EMT. He was 23 years old, and he went into the World Trade Center and lost his life as a first responder. I ask you, dear brothers and sisters, we take a moment now and pray for the victims, pray for their families, and we pray for the resilience of us as Americans, of us as citizens of this world, that we will overcome all these challenges. Through getting to know one another on a personal level, people of different faiths can build bridges of understanding, respect, and harmony. Amen. Dear brothers and sisters, again, resilience, harmony, mutual respect. That is what this evening is about. That we will come together and show our proud colors and what it truly means: freedom, democracy, and harmony. This event will be broadcast throughout the Middle East via Al-Hura television today. So not only will you all here be witness to this, but an audience in the Middle East will be witness to this event today. Dear brothers and sisters, I am now going to invite up the president of the All Dulles Area Muslim Society, Brother Sayyid Muqtadir. He served as 4 years as vice president of Adams. He is also a father of 6 children, and he was elected over 1 year ago as the president of the All Dulles Area Muslim Society. He is also the vice chair of the Muslim Christian Coalition to protect Middle East Christians. I give you Brother Sayyid Muqtadir, the president of Adams.
In the name of God, the beneficent, the merciful. Praise be to God, Lord of the worlds. My dear brothers and sisters of all faiths, it is indeed with great sadness that we commemorate the honored lives of each and every individual that sacrificed their lives at 9/11. My brothers and sisters, it is indeed another grim reminder for all of us collectively as Americans that the values we stand for collectively, the value that we preach, there are many out there who may not necessarily would agree with. Also, this is a grim reminder for all of us that even if they don't agree with, we know our values, we know our way of life, we know our democracy that unites us, brings us together, independent of our religions, independent of our colors, independent of our races. And we know with God's help, we will succeed. And that is the conviction that more and more that brings us and unites us together. My brothers and sisters, the terrorists that attacked on 9/11, I can assure you, they were defeated even before they committed the atrocities. They only waited to be turned into ashes here in the world, and also God promised in the hereafter for them to wait for His wrath to face their Lord. Because no matter what religion you believe, killing one innocent person is a grave crime. And for Muslims, it is as if they have killed the entire humanity. So they just need to wait for their turn with their Lord. However, my brothers and sisters, our honored servicemen, the virtue they have demonstrated, it is them who went against the tide to rescue these people at the expense of their own lives. Imagine that. The terrorists, they are defeated before they kill even a single person. They just waited for their turn to be turned into ashes. Whereas our men and women who sacrificed their own lives, they're our heroes. They're indeed our heroes. There are many who saved thousands of lives at the expense of their own. So therefore, it is indeed our obligation collectively to honor our law enforcement, our emergency service personnel, the names, the list goes on, and of course, every single victim of 9/11. Today, collectively, we ask God to help us as a country to heal the wounds that's difficult to heal. And let us all pray that God unites us to defeat the terror of any sort, defeat the extremism of any sort. Let us all be together. May God help us all. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Brother Sayyid Muqtadir. Appreciate your passion, and thank you for the reflections. We appreciate it so much, and thank you for your leadership. I'm going to now invite up Imam Muhammad Majid. He is the Chief Imam or Executive Religious Director of Adams. He is the former President of the Islamic Society of North America. He is known as America's Imam, a international scholar. Just recently, in August, he toured several countries, Nigeria, Sudan, Egypt, and a few other countries, on talking and educating about counter-violent extremism. He has toured the world and met with international scholars and political leaders to focus on religious freedom for minorities in Muslim-majority countries. We appreciate his leadership. He is also the chair of Fairfax County Faith Communities in Action. I give you Imam Muhammad Majid.
Thank you so much, Ridwan. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's my great pleasure to be with all of you. I just want to say that David Callender, now he's a chairman. I'm the vice chairman, yes. We promoted David Callender. I'm talking to our chairperson, Sharon Boulevard. She's the one who founded Faith Community in Action. I would like to say that in remembering the tragedy and the victim of 9/11, and remembering the people who gave their life to try to save people's life from the first responders and law enforcement, make me think and reflect, where are we from that time to this time? I'd like to say 3 points very quickly. Number one, I do believe that the faith community around the United States have proven that the terrorist mission of dividing the nation have failed miserably. More people have united, more people have worked together. Every Muslim community that I know in the United States have opened their house of worship, and they adopted the slogan, Mosque Without Wall. This mosque itself, Adams Center, have experienced the love and compassion of the larger community, where the Sikh community and the Jewish community and the Christian community have came to this mosque with flowers, with postcards, with donation, addressing the vandalism against Adams after 9/11. And then Islamic Society of North America founded shoulder to shoulder 30 religious organizations, the largest religious organization in the United States, have created a coalition to defend the Muslim rights in this country after they have seen anti-Muslims and Islamophobia was on the rise in the United States. That shows the best of the United States, the best of America. When I travel overseas and I share with people how Americans have responded to 9/11, they get amazed, because in some countries, the response to such a tragedy is sometimes lead to genocide almost of those members of those communities. Also, I'd like to say that it led to working closely with evangelical Christians, for example, that we will have on the October 22nd gathering of about 200 pastors and 200 imams here in McLean Bible Church to make a commitment for religious freedom. And then in October 23rd will be National Cathedral. I would like us to say that there's a lot of things, good things have happened. We have our own initiative that there's a website you can go to called onetrueislam.org. It's a petition and it's a campaign for Muslims to unite to defeat violent extremism. Since rise of ISIS, I've become very concerned about the recruitment of young people. And therefore, we developed a strategy how to respond to this new phenomena of ISIS targeting young people, whether in the United States or around the world, to join the cult of ISIS. Therefore, our work is still continue to fight violent extremism, but I'm very proud of the response we have seen from the larger community, standing with Muslim community, and we look forward to work with our neighbors and people around us to create harmonious, peaceful community. May God bless all of you. I want to thank again the people from the faith community and also the members of the law enforcement for their great work and dedication. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Imam Majid. Again, appreciate your leadership regionally, nationally, and internationally. And it's good to know Rabbi David Callender is now the chair and you're the vice chair. It's good to see that the transition. And I do want to remind everyone that tonight at sunset will be the beginning of the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and we wish everyone a Lashana Tova, which is the greeting for a new year for the Jewish community. They will have then the High Holy Days ending with Yom Kippur on September 23rd to the 24th, where they have a 25-hour fast. And at the same time, that coincides with the Muslim season of the pilgrimage, commemorating the rights and traditions of Prophet Abraham and his wife Hajar and his son Prophet Ismail. And millions of Muslims will be going to Mecca as we speak, and it will culminate with the Hajj, the pilgrimage, which will also be on the September 23rd or 24th, depending on the moon sighting. And so a confluence of faithful traditions and religious observations, and at the same time, we as the American community will be welcoming His Holiness Pope Francis to the United States of America, whereas Imam Majid and myself will be at various events meeting the Pope, and I will actually personally be at the Mass at the Basilica of the National Shrine representing the Muslim community. And so it's an amazing confluence of events for the Catholic, Muslim, and Jewish community in this next week. And that is what is the story of America, religious freedom and harmony. And so, dear brothers and sisters, want to let you know how we will be observing today. We will have a few more interfaith speakers in a few moments. Then we will have our esteemed government officials and also candidates being recognized. Some will be saying a few words. Brother Bob Morrow will come up here. And we appreciate the courage of our government officials, of the candidates that are serving in office or running for office. It is the example of the democracy, of the representative government that we have, that is represented in the leadership of our officials and candidates that are here. It takes courage to run for office, regardless of what side, what party. Today, we are no party. We are Americans. We come together, and we will remember the victims, and we will honor our first responders. And that is why we are here today. And so we will hear from them. Then we will start the honoring of our law enforcement and public safety officials. That will around 7:20 time frame, we will have the call to prayer for the fourth prayer for the Muslim community. We will break for prayer. We will then have dinner served for all our guests. Then we will come back and we'll continue our recognition of law enforcement and public safety. Our goal is to conclude by 8:30 p.m. this evening. So with that, dear brothers and sisters, I would like to invite up our first interfaith speaker, who is actually a leader of the Sikh community, Pritam Singh. He is representing the Sterling Gurdwara. He is also a member of the Loudon Interfaith Bridges. And as I reminded everyone, that the first victim of a hate crime after 9/11 was a Sikh American. And as you know, these are two different distinct faith traditions, the Muslim community and the Sikh community. But because of their attire, they are subject to xenophobia. Obviously, no one, Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, Christian, Buddhist, Zoroastrian, no one should be subject to any type of xenophobia. But our brothers and sisters in the Sikh community stand out with their faithfulness of the turban and of the beards. And as Americans, we believe in the religious freedom and representing that and protecting that. And we know law enforcement has done everything they can to prevent hate crimes, and we will recognize that today. So with that, dear brothers and sisters, I'm going to invite up Mr. Pritam Singh. Sat Sri Akal, thank you for your leadership. Please join us up here to say a few words. And as you may have heard me say, Sat Sri Akal is the traditional Sikh greeting. Sat Sri Akal. Thank you, sir.
Brothers and sisters, it's my exclusive pleasure and honor to honor the victims of 9/11. 9/11 brings vivid memories back to us. As Rizwan was saying, you can straight away realize where you were at 9/11 when this thing was happening. It is so powerful, it impacted us so much. It is, and it will remain with us throughout our life as long as we live. Today, on behalf of the Sikh community, I bring greetings to all those who served at that time, realizing that their own life is at risk, but to save others, they went forward. Our first responders, our police, our civil department, our fire department, regardless of their own safety, they went ahead and tried save as much people, irrespective of their faith, religion, origin, color, creed, anything. They were there, and we honor them today. And we remember the victims, those who sacrificed themselves at the hand of the terrorists. It's a terrible thing, and we pray to God Almighty to give us the strength and to give us the strength to the families to bear that loss and stand firm against terrorism today, now, and forever. I will just quote only one quote of Gurbani that is in our religion, and that says, Awal Allah nur upayo, Kudrat ke sab bande, एक नूर ते सब जग उपजो कौन भले कौन मंदे. It says in very simple word that the God Almighty has brought everybody in this world. There's nobody who is good, there's nobody who's bad. We all are His creation, and we all should live together in harmony, in peace, and bring that happiness to everybody. It's sad for us that those people who were there on 9/11, they are not around now. But their memories will be there with us throughout, and we should always remember them as a sacrifice. Remember one thing, that terrorism cannot succeed if we all stand together. Terrorism is just the individual's thought. It's not the community thought. So we all should stand together as a community, as a humanity, as human beings. And we should always remember them in our mind, day in and day out. My heart goes to the families, those who are suffering till today, and we pray to the God Almighty to give them peace and happiness and give them strength so that they can stand firm against the terrorism. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Preethram Singh. We appreciate your words, your leadership. Thank you so much. Dear brothers and sisters, I will now invite up Brother Charles Stevenson. He is a Catholic community member, Methodist community member. He is an Adams honorary member, a regular member as a Christian community member, part of our Adams Civic Engagement team. We appreciate his friendship and partnership. I give you Brother Charles Stevenson.
Well, the fact is that we really live in challenging times. And sometimes it's very difficult to feel optimistic about the future, much less the present. Whenever I want to feel optimistic and good about the future, whenever I want to find an excuse or a reason to commit myself to that future, I don't have to look very far. I don't have to look very far right now because I'm looking at the future right this minute. I am standing in the middle of Adams, and I am standing in the presence of some of the most incredible people that this region and this nation has to offer. So I feel an optimism, a renewal of spirit, an encouragement just being in your presence, knowing something of the great things that a number of you have done, and looking forward to seeing the great healing work that's going to come out of this group of people in the months and the years to come. So let us take comfort and inspiration with one another. I believe that the Lord has brought us together at this time, and we can share our commitment, our involvement with the people that we encounter day by day in our daily lives. And let us live in such a way as to become an inspiration to them. Thank you very much. Thanks be to God.
Thank you, Brother Charles. Thank you for your interfaith activism and dedication. I will now invite up Brother Mike Trivett, a longtime friend and partner representing one of the largest churches in Loudoun County, the Christian Fellowship Church. We have had many community service activities together between Adams, Ashburn, Beth Havarim Reformed Congregation, and the Christian Fellowship Church. One of those was collecting backpacks for military families. Another one was having a community service shop for those in need in the Rolling Ridge Elementary right nearby. Again, an amazing partnership and fellowship that, again, truly represents the story that is America. I give you Brother Mike Trivett of the Christian Fellowship Church.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. I always count it an honor and a privilege to be with you, especially for an occasion like this, to commemorate those who are protecting and serving, defending the peace that we all desire. I bring greetings from Christian Fellowship Church. It's an honor to be a neighbor to the Ashburn Adams and to work with Syed Alam and many of the leaders there. It's a pleasure to work and do so many, as Rizwan has said, so many projects together. I'm pleased also my administrative assistant, Leanne Hickey, is here with us tonight. It's always a pleasure to be able to spend a time with her as well as we endeavor to gain friendship and build relationships here. I want to tell you that as far as both of our faith communities, we both believe in the best in what can be done in a community. We also believe that we all can work together to see God ordained and God benefited and glorified within our community. We believe that when we work together. It was that kind of thing that I saw when in December we all worked together as a synagogue, a mosque, and a church to provide a nice, wonderful dinner at the Rolling Ridge campus, where over 225 people came from the community and were able to order off of menus and enjoy that. And several of you were there to help us, and we worked together side by side. That's a beautiful thing. I'm also reminded of the time back in May when, through leadership of several of the ladies in this membership and in the synagogue and the church, that we worked together to have a no-sale yard sale, where I was so amazed at the amount of items, the clothes, the shoes, the bread, the foods that were all provided together as one community coming together to do that. I'm excited about what we all can work together in unity and to serve in peace. And I want to say that as I prepared to share tonight, I pray wisdom for those who are our security, those who are our police force, wisdom for those who are our first responders, those who are on the front lines of many of those times. Some of you are those individuals. And I pray for discernment and wisdom and grace. And so that any time that we're on those kinds of endeavors, any kinds of missions to protect those of the community, that God himself will protect the families that you represent. And we are just considering a privilege to be with you. I thank you for this opportunity to share. I will close with my normal thing. Is that right? All right, when we at our church, we say God is great. We'll say God is great. You say all the time. When I say all the time, you say God is great. Are we ready? God is great. All the time. And all the time. God is great. Thank you for letting me be with you tonight.
Thank you so much, Brother Mike. I appreciate your reflections, leadership, and love it when you invoke that God is great and the audience participation in that. And that is something that is so important, that we remember God is the greatest all the time. Dear brothers and sisters, I'm going to now invite up, I mentioned to you that the Jewish New Year is about to start at sunset, and we're honored to have a longtime friend from the Jewish community, Sister Andrea Barron. She is an honorary member of our community. We have coordinated 7 Passover Seders that we hosted here at this mosque since 2006, which is a commemoration of the Exodus, where God Almighty saved Prophet Moses and his people from the Pharaoh, which is a common story between the Muslim, Jewish, and Christian community. We appreciate her partnership and leadership as representing the Washington area Jews for Jewish Muslim understanding. I give you Sister Andrea Barron. Shalom and Lashana Tova.
Oh, very good. So you know how President Obama sometimes will use the words in Hebrew, tikkun olam, which means to repair the world. So Rizwan learned how to say Shana HaTova, which means Happy New Year in Hebrew. Very good, okay. My name is Andrea Barron, and as Rizwan said, tomorrow will be the first day of Rosh Hashanah. I'm going to let everybody practice that. Rosh Hashanah. So those of you who speak Arabic, who speaks Arabic? Anybody? Nobody, one, okay. So that's like the word Saneh, which means year in Hebrew. So you say Shana in Hebrew, and how you say the word for head in Arabic is Ras. So in Hebrew it's Rosh. So something like 1 out of every 10 words in Hebrew and Arabic is the same. So let's try Rosh Hashanah. Okay, almost as good as Rizwan, right? Okay, so again, this is the first day of the Jewish New Year, and this is the year 5776. So what's very interesting is Jews don't really believe that the world was created 5,776 years ago, but it does say that. according to traditional sages. But this is the Jewish calendar, so just like there's a special Muslim calendar that begins during the year when Muhammad went and made the Hijrah, right? And there is a special Jewish calendar, so this is the beginning of the new year. So I'm proud to be here tonight with Adams. Tomorrow morning I'll be going to synagogue, but tonight we're happy to be at the Adams Peace Gathering and Public Safety Appreciation. And hopefully this will be another year when Jews and Muslims and Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, Baha'is, and everybody else, Zoroastrians, who else do we have? Sikhs. Anybody else? Okay, everybody else, because I know there's at least sometimes you have either people of other faiths here. It'll be another year when we can all work together, and that those of us who are inclusive and want to reach out to people of other faiths, that this will be another year when we can continue doing all our hard work. We've had a great experience in our small group, Washington Area Jews for Jewish Muslim Understanding, in working with the Adams Center and on all different kinds of issues, on cultural issues, on political issues. And so we're just hoping that for every faith, there are people who want to focus on the positive, inclusive aspects in their faith. The positive, I'm not a Catholic, but I can tell you that Pope Francis is one of those people focusing on the positive aspects and the warmth and love in Catholicism. And there are Jews who do that, and there's the people from Adams who do that with Islam. And so I hope that we all, those of us who focus on the positive verses from our Holy Scriptures, that reach out to other people, that we can form our own community. And then there are those people who focus on the negative aspects and the hatred in their own faiths, in their own holy books, of all holy books. Let's push them aside, and let's create our own community that's inclusive, and let's do this in 5776. So happy Rosh Hashanah, everybody.
Thank you so much, Andrea. I appreciate your passion and leadership, and for the wonderful reflections of how we can, commemorate this new year. Again, Lashana Tova. Dear brothers and sisters, I'm going to now invite, we have Udam Simana. He is the head abbot of the Thai Buddhist temple in Sterling, Wat Rang Yarma. Later you will hear from Captain Hines, who is instrumental in doing a lot of wonderful outreach and interfaith work in Loudoun County. He brought the Buddhist delegation here today, and we're honored to have them here today. We have, again, Udam Samana, the head abbot of Wat Rang Yarna Buddhist Temple. Namaskar.
Good evening for everyone. I behalf the name of the Thai American Buddhists in Virginia. Right now it's 14 years for 9/11. We think in the modern world, if we lie in the one earth family, we should not hate each other. We need to learn to love the planet each together, no matter which nature we are from. Violence is not the solution to any problems. We need to develop strong spirit in order to face any hardship, hardship for like 9/11. Thank you very much.
Udam Samana, thank you. Yes, indeed, we should not hate one another, and we should learn to love one another. Thank you so much for your leadership. Now, dear brothers and sisters, I would like to invite up Lieutenant Colonel Salahuddin. He has been in the U.S. Air Force for 24 years. He's on the Air Force staff. We appreciate his service to our nation. There are several thousand Muslims serving honorably in the United States military. We appreciate all their dedication. We appreciate all of our servicemen and women for their dedication and their sacrifice day in and day out here in the United States and around the world. I give you Lieutenant Colonel Salahuddin.
In the name of God, the beneficent, the merciful, I want to greet you all in the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum, which is peace be upon you. I just want to take a couple of minutes. I want to first thank Imam Majid. I met him for the first time last week in Chicago at the Islamic Society of North America conference. And he really welcomed me to the community and encouraged us to really be a part of the community. So my wife is here, Hasna, my son, Rayan are here. We just moved here recently from Tampa, working at the Pentagon on the air staff. So I want to also thank all of the first responders, police, fire, EMS, and also the families of the first responders. You know, it's amazing. This weekend, I actually had to go on military duty in Maryland, and my family came with me. And the sacrifice that they make, sometimes it's not really recognized. So I want to personally recognize all of the families of service members and all of our first responders. So let's give them a round of applause, the family members. So I want to just in 2 minutes reflect on my memory of 9/11. So at the time, I was on active duty at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama, actually going through a leadership school. So the instructors had put us on break. So I had gone back to my room, and when I got back to my room, the first tower had been hit. And then while I was watching, the second tower was hit. So just like any other American, I was in horror when I saw that. And I came back to the room, our training room, and it was really, really somber. You know, there were a number of emotions going on. You know, I think some of us as service members, our first response is, hey, let me get back to my normal base so I can get into the fight, right? That's how a military person thinks. But our class leader actually turned to me and asked that I give a prayer. Now, I was the only Muslim in the entire squadron officer school at the time, over 500 students, and I was asked to give the prayer. They knew I was, you know, a religious person, and I thought it was a great honor for them to have selected me on that day of 9/11 to give the prayer. And what I reflected on at that time is the fact that whatever faith community that we all come from, we share common values of humanity, of peace, and I commend all of you who are here today, and I'm excited about being part of this community because this community embodies all of those values. So again, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the sacrifices that you make, and I look forward to continuing to partner with this community. Thank you.
Thank you again, Lieutenant Colonel Salahuddin. We appreciate, again, your dedication and sacrifice for our country, and we thank your family as well. And actually, at this time, we would like to ask all those that have served in the U.S. military to please stand. We'd like to recognize them all and their families. We have... And thank you so much for your sacrifice and dedication to our country. We truly invite up Brother Bob Morrow, who is a board member of ADAMS. He's also chair of government relations, and he served in the U.S. Army National Guard many years back. We appreciate his sacrifice and service to the nation. And he will introduce our government officials and candidates to say a few words to, again, thank our first responders and in remembrance of the victims of 9/11. So now I give you Brother Bob Morrow.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, Rizwan. Thank you all for joining us. Before we actually start with the introductions, I just wanted to mention a couple of things about the event and why we're here. This past Friday, I was up in Boston with my family. And we were sitting in a hotel waiting for our boys to finish getting ready so we can go out and continue our touring. And we turned on the television, and MSNBC was rerunning the Today Show from September 11th, 2001. And even though I had watched it, there's a certain fascination with watching that again. And you're sitting there and you knew exactly what was going to happen, pretty much when it was going to happen. And when it came to the part where the first tower collapsed, watching the commentators and hearing them saying, there's a real concern that the second tower will collapse as well. And they were beginning to evacuate people and trying to get people and warn people to get out as quickly as possible. But what struck me, as they were doing that, they were also showing a video of the various first responders, the New York Fire Department, the police department, and they were all marching towards the building, carrying their equipment, getting ready, and all encumbered with their oxygen tanks and their firefighting equipment and all their gear. And and I was watching them thinking, I didn't really pay attention to it the first time, those 14 years ago. But now, in retrospect, every one of those people must have known the risk because they had just seen that first tower come down. And when that came down, there was no possibility that anyone who was in those towers would have walked away from that. But yet, they continued to walk right towards that without flinching, without even thinking about it, without thinking of the potential consequences. Rizwan mentioned I served in the National Guard. I was in the infantry. And when we trained, all the time that I served, thank God I never had to really put this into effect, but we trained for combat. And I always had the feeling in the back of my mind when we did like combat exercises. When the shooting started, my natural inclination was to get under cover someplace and protect myself. And I guess we all wondered what we would actually do in that situation. All of our training was to run to the sound of the battle, to the sound of the gunfire. But it goes against your human instinct. And I remember pondering on that and thinking, when it came down to it, what would I do? Would I really have, would my training kick in and would I really overcome all of that? And yet watching those first responders, obviously they had overcome all of that. They never gave a thought for their own personal safety. And now, a lot of the images we watch now about especially police, they're pretty negative. And they're the negative aspects. And, it focuses on people who are not doing the right thing. But, I think we have to keep in mind, no matter how much angst we may feel at watching some of the images of police or others not doing the right thing, they represent a very, very tiny majority, a minority. And the overwhelming vast majority of people, the people that we'll be honoring here tonight, people that we've honored over the last 15, 16 years, are people that I think in your heart of hearts that these are the people who are going to go out there and do everything they can to protect the likes of us, to protect those of us who, when they hear something going wrong, want to dive for cover rather than run and put themselves in danger. It's not just a matter of it's their job. I think it's their vocation and avocation, because they have it in their hearts that they are going to do everything that they can to protect. And so many times you think about, as Rizwan said, we all remember where we were. We can all remember where we were on those events, usually tragic events, whether it was the assassination of President Kennedy, the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan, the explosion of the space shuttle. We can all remember those horrific days. But we have to keep in mind that these people, it's like the image will always stay in my mind. The Secret Serviceman who tried to jump in front of President Reagan. So many people who put their lives at risk. And I think it's an honor for us as a community to be able to honor those people for the sacrifices that they make, for the sacrifices that they're willing to make. So, before we go into the political aspects, I think just another round of applause for all of those people who do this every day. Now, I know we're blessed to have a number of political officials and candidates here. This is campaign season, and I know many of you probably have other events to do. So if you have to leave, please let us know so that we can try and introduce you as quickly as possible and let you get on to your next event. Let you run to the sounds of battle. In your case, it's the battle box rather than the battle, but it's still a conflict. So we straddle both Fairfax and Loudoun County. The dividing line runs just outside the front steps. We're not going in any particular order, but I know that she had asked me that she's got other events. I'm not sure if the others have it as well, but I'd like to first call upon, without any favoritism, without any protocol, Fairfax County Supervisor, Chairman of the Board, Sharon Bulova, to come up. She's been someone who has been a good friend of the Adams community, a good friend of all religious communities here. But somebody who's been here many, many times before. We're delighted and honored to have her here, and I'd like to introduce Chairman Sharon Bulova.
Thank you so much, and good evening to everyone. Let me first congratulate Imam Majid for managing to pass the torch. He has served so ably as the chairman of Fairfax County's Faith Community in Action, which is an organization of multi-faiths, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, every faith is represented. And it was really impactful and powerful to have you as our chairman, especially during periods of rocky times. And I know how much that took away from your time and how much pressure you're under sometimes to spread yourself into so many directions. So thank you for your service. Regarding Faith Communities in Action, let me just say that that actually my warmest memory regarding September 11th was actually the next day. And after that horrific thing had happened in our country, and we were still trying to make sense of what had happened, I remember getting up the next morning and going for a run, and I remember people starting to put flags out in front of their homes and on their cars, and flags were everywhere. And that very evening, Faith Communities in Action organized an interfaith candlelight vigil. Faith communities came together from faiths I didn't even know existed, but it was so powerful. And it made such a difference, and it made such a statement. And it also helped, I think, to improve our culture of engagement and tolerance in Fairfax County. And that has lasted and grown to this day. So thank you to Adams Center. Adams is a special place. And I want to thank you for the work that you do. And I want to thank you for every year thanking public safety for their sacrifices and the work that they did on September 11th, but do every day. So thank you so much, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
You know, when I first came to Fairfax County, it was in the late 1970s when I worked at Xerox. And at that time, you know, this was a pretty traditional and conventional, and Charles and I have talked about this many times, it was the typical kind of Old South. But I think I would echo what Sharon said. You know, coming back here in the late 1990s, I'm so glad that we moved to this part of Fairfax, which is also very close to Loudoun, because I cannot think of a more tolerant, more welcoming, more open place to live. And it's been a pleasure to raise my family in this area, and to know that, you know, they will be accepted no matter where they go. So, again, without any reference to protocol or to any favoritism, again, this is really based on political exigencies. I know that Delegate Kathleen Murphy has other things to do, so I'd like to introduce her and ask her to come up as well. And before she speaks, I would just like to remind the audience, back in February, there was an effort in the General Assembly in Richmond to have a resolution commending Adams for all the work that we did. The person who was really behind this in the House of Delegates was Kathleen Murphy. So thank you very much for that. And welcome back to Adams.
Welcome back. Thanks. Thank you very much. Salam alaikum. I always love coming here. It's like a second home. You've accepted me into this community with such really a wonderful and loving way, and I always am very proud to represent you and to serve in the House of Delegates and to be part of your community. On 9/11, I lost a relative. My daughter-in-law's brother died that day. He was in the first building that was hit. He worked for Cantor Fitzgerald, and he was on the 100th floor, and he never got out. But we're grateful because my son-in-law was in the second building, and he was able to run down 80 floors and escape before that building fell. That day, we sat in our house and did not know who was dead or who was alive until well after 5 o'clock. It was a terrifying day, but it was such a good day that the family of this country came together the way it did and embraced each other and held on to the faith that we share, the faith in God that keeps us going forward every single day. I appreciate all of you. I am grateful that you have me here so often, and I am so proud of our first responders, our firefighters, and our police officers for all you do to keep us safe and to keep our communities good places to live for our children and our families. Thank you.
And I would just say, you know, I think that's a two-way street, because one of the things that makes this area such a great place to live in is because we've got so many really top-notch political officials here, and people who not only get it, but who really walk the walk as well as talk the talk, and they really make this area, you know, a desirable place to be. I'd like now to introduce Senator Barbara Favola, who was one of the leaders of that resolution when it passed the General Assembly. She led the effort in the Virginia Senate, and has been another person who's been here many, many times, a very, very strong friend of Adams and all the religious communities, and it's a delight to welcome her back, Senator Favola.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. First, I do want to thank you all and the leaders of the Adams Center for hosting this event every year. It is so easy in today's world to stereotype individuals, to create wedges that divide us, especially if you listen to some of the political rhetoric going on these days. So it is critically important that people like you and me and those of us who have the values of inclusiveness, who care about our democratic principles, who know that we really must be welcoming and we must in fact honor our pluralism, and I would say recognize and honor our diversity. We have to stand up for those values. We have to say, this is who we are, and together we are strong. And you all are doing that, and you're leading us in that effort, and we thank you. I also want to take a moment to really extend my gratitude and appreciation to the first responders. 9/11 in 2001, as our Chairman Bulova knows and Supervisor Faust know, I was on the Arlington County Board when the Pentagon was actually hit. And we knew that the Arlington first responders were in fact going to be in charge of whatever recovery and rescue mission was going to take place. But fortunately, they did not do it alone. They had incredible backup from Fairfax, and Fairfax was there with us every step of the way. The way our responders are trained, their diligence, their courage, and I would say their culturally sensitive approach to that rescue mission really reflects the values of our communities and the values of our elected leaders. So we are grateful, we are very grateful that you in fact led the way in such a stellar and courageous manner. So I think I've probably said enough. I always appreciate the opportunity to join you, and I hope you continue to invite me to your many events. Thank you.
Now we're going to go from Fairfax into Loudoun so that we are not accused of favoritism in any way. I'd like to introduce someone who's been here a number of times before, Commonwealth Attorney Jim Plowman. He's been in office for, I don't remember, as long as I can remember, and he's been somebody who has been, again, a good friend, supporter of the Adams and the religious communities, and we're delighted to welcome him back. Commonwealth Attorney Jim Plowman.
I think I was first invited here back in 2003, and I thank you for inviting me back to join your community. You know, I think, Bob, you and I had some of the same thoughts when thinking about 9/11, and it's unfortunate that sometimes tragedy brings people together. And it's these kinds of tragedies that bring us together, not as a culture, not as a religion, but as Americans. And even small tragedies within families can bring families together. But I think of when I grew up, listening to my relatives talk about, and everyone here has said, I remember where I was on 9/11. I remember when I heard the news. I remember exactly what I was doing. Everyone does. And I remember growing up hearing my relatives talk about these significant events in American history, and this is a significant event in American history, and they would talk about President Kennedy being shot. They knew where he was. They knew where they were when he was killed. Pearl Harbor. I wasn't alive during those events, and this is probably my tragic event during my lifetime that I'll remember forever, where I was, what I was doing, who I was talking to. And when I think about that and I look at my three kids, they're 15, 13, and 11, and I see all the young people back here, I kind of hope and pray that they don't have an event like that to share. And I pray that our first responders and our law enforcement folks and our government officials have taken steps and learned lessons from 9/11 and all these other tragedies that Americans have experienced, to put protective measures in place so that we don't have those events for our children, and that they're just, to them, will be just history. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for having this event.
Thank you very much. Now we'll say in Loudoun County, with somebody who's close here to home and somebody who is another fixture at all of our events in the past years, and someone whose support we always know we can count on. We're delighted to welcome back Eugene Delgadio, the Loudoun County Supervisor for, what is this district called? Sterling, yeah. There's too many districts, can't keep them all in mind.
To Rizwan and Bob and the Imam, thank you for always hosting a wonderful egalitarian event, a coalition, if you will. You know, think of the Star Wars movie. You know, there's all those episodes, and you've got everybody together in a coalition to fight the Death Star. This is what I feel like, you know. Like we're here with episode, I don't know, 7 of the Star Wars saga, and we're together, the Democrats and the Republicans, the Fairfax people and the Loudoun people. Oh my goodness, senators and delegates and supervisors. And I saw Roger Zern, who preceded me as supervisor. Is he still here? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My hat is off to Roger Zern. If you think I'm old and funny, wait till you hear Mr. Zern. Because Mr. Zern, you taught me everything I know, and I stand on your shoulders because you preceded me as Sterling supervisor. You even preceded Scott York. Whoa. So I'm from New York. I'm a refugee from Fairfax. Please don't tell the Fairfax police officers where I come from. And I'm also a Sterling supervisor now for, oh my goodness, 4 terms, 16 years. And, you know, Donald Trump did steal my hat, just for those of you who are wondering, okay? But he did not steal my humor, because I've got some serious humor here. But I have also love for you. Besides having a sense of humor, I got that ability to relax with you because you've been working so hard for so long. But the true grit of the sacrifice of the first responders, they've got that love and they've got that sense of contentment as they do their job. And so for the first responders, thank you for what you've done to make us be able to have this coalition. Thank you to the first responders for putting your lives on the line and for making our lives that much better. And for the members of the faith community, keep doing it.
Thank you, Eugene. Again, you know, another very, very old friend, someone who's been here more times than I can remember, but somebody who has been an avid supporter and a strong, staunch friend of the Adams community, Fairfax County Supervisor John Faust.
Thank you, Bob, and good evening, everyone. It is an honor, as always, to be at the Adams. I'm particularly honored today to be here with the first responders and with the interfaith community. I mean, these are 2 elements of our community that I think help make us great. I've been coming here since 2003, gotten to know many of you very well, and I've learned to appreciate from the bottom of my heart everything that Adams does for our community. And as a consequence of the wonderful, wonderful stuff that Adams does, whether it's in civic engagement, whether it's with the youth programs, whether it's with interfaith activities. And I'm kind of surprised the chairman didn't announce it, but I will. On October 20th, the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors will be honoring Adams for its contributions to our community. And one of the elements of that, of the motion that we made, which obviously was adopted unanimously by our board, not always, that doesn't always happen, is the amazing interfaith activity, which really, in my opinion, helps bring our community together in ways that are almost unimaginable. So I would hope that those of you who are available on October 20th, 9:30 at the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, will come out and share with us the opportunity to thank Adams for everything they've done for our community and everything we know they will continue to do going forward. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the 20th, I hope.
I think John is too modest to mention that he was the one who really kind of helped push that initiative. We're delighted to have the support of all the supervisors in Fairfax County, and especially delighted that people are willing to reach out and recognize us and others for the things that we've done. All right, lest we forget, we don't have just local officials or local supervisors, delegates, senators, etc. We also have in Virginia national officials. And we're delighted here to have a representative of one of our key national figures, Senator Mark Warner. We're delighted to welcome Ms. Ann Pham, who's a representative of Senator Mark Warner, a legislative aide for him. And delighted to have her come up. She's been here a number of times as well. We've also had the privilege of welcoming Senator Warner himself many times. He's come here for leadership meetings with the Adams Group. And we're always delighted to have that kind of support from our national figures as well. Ann?
Thank you so much. Salam alaikum and Lashana Tova. It's always great to be here at the Adams Center and at these interfaith events when I'm able to say those two phrases and greetings at the same time. And so on behalf of U.S. Senator Mark Warner, the senior senator from the Commonwealth of Virginia, I bring you greetings, and I know that he wishes that he were here, but he is also very busy doing federal government affairs. And I also wanted to express our deepest gratitude and appreciation in honoring our first responders. Last Friday, I was with the senator, and we were also honoring and appreciating first responders on the anniversary of September 11th at a barbecue, actually. And it was a really great event. A lot of people in uniform came up, and the senator was able to speak to many of them, as I know that he wishes that he would be here tonight. So again, on behalf of Senator Mark Warner, thank you very much for inviting me to this event, and I hope to see you very soon. Thank you.
Now, we'd also like to recognize all of those who are not yet officials, who are candidates for many of those positions. If they are successful, we hope that they will continue to look at us and think about us and coming back over here. Many of them have been here already many times before, coming and talking to our members of the community. I will emphasize, Adams is a 501c3. We do not support, we do not endorse, we do not favor any particular candidates, parties, issues, etc. However, we really make a strong effort to tell our community, go out, get to know all of these candidates, because people, if they're coming now as a candidate, it will be a much easier opportunity to talk with them once we've known them when they are, in fact, elected to those offices. So what we'd like to do is just to ask each of the candidates to stand when I introduce them. We will have an opportunity later when we sit down and have dinner for an opportunity for each of them to come and speak if they still can stay with us. And at that point, people will be well fed. There'll be more people coming in after the Maghrib prayer. They can come in and it'll be an opportunity to reach to a larger group of people. So for the time being, we'll just introduce, and we'll start, and we'll go around from here. I'll start out with Craig Pariseau, who's running for delegate in the 34th district. I'm sorry, Dr. Jill McCabe, who is running for Senate in the 13th Senate District. Go from the back. Danny Vargas, who's running for the House of Delegates in the 86th District. Bettina Lawton, who's running for the Court Clerk in Fairfax County. Jennifer Boysko, also a candidate in the 86th District. Elizabeth Miller, running for the House of Delegates in the 32nd District. And John Bell, running for the House of Delegates in the 87th, that's right, 87th District.
Thank you, Brother Bob. Appreciate your, again, leadership and dedication. Again, thank you to the government officials and the candidates for your sacrifice, your service, and for running for office, which, again, takes a lot of courage. Wanted to let you know that we actually have the call to prayer in actually 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, actually. And wanted to, we will do one recognition before the call to prayer we did the Loudoun County Fire and Rescue and Emergency Services earlier, and in the theme of Loudoun County, we would like to bring up and recognize the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office, and want to just remind you in a moment, after the prayer, we will recognize the FBI, Fairfax County Police and Fire, as well as Sterling Emergency Services, as well as various other departments after the prayer and during the dinner. So this is the first of many. So we'd like to recognize the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. We appreciate their partnership and dedication for so many years, working together, throughout the years in security of securing Loudoun County, working with us to counter hate crimes, to investigate hate crimes, and to look after local security. We appreciate their dedication and efforts and their wonderful outreach. And so with that, I'd like to invite up and honor to introduce two of our leaders from the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. We have Sheriff Chapman and Captain Hines. Please give them a round of applause, and we thank them for their dedication and sacrifice. And again, as I mentioned, the wonderful outreach. Together, we will be traveling to the Department of Justice COPS program in Minnesota for countering violent extremism later this week. Also, the wonderful outreach and multicultural work and interfaith work that this department stands for. An amazing beacon of light for our country as the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. And on behalf of the All Dulles Area Muslim Society, in appreciation of your distinguished service and tireless dedication, the All Dulles Area Muslim Society recognizes the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office this 13th day of September 2015.
Thank you, Rizwan. It's really an honor to be here today, and I tell you, we have just a terrific relationship with the Adams Center, and a lot of it has to do with Captain Chris Hines, who's with me here. As you know, he was the Eastern Loudoun commander for quite a while, and was the assistant commander for quite a while, and really developed some very good, strong relationships here. And I'll tell you, when I look at the tragedy that we had just over a week ago with the shooting that happened here, and the way that the community came together, and the way that the communication that we have between our deputies and the citizens out here really shows when we work together what we can accomplish. And I really appreciate everybody being on the same team on that and helping us out. We were able to solve that issue and have 3 people under arrest within a 24-hour period. So I'm grateful. So I'm just grateful for the relationship we have with the Adams Center, grateful for the relationship we have with the community here. It really does mean a lot. With that, I'll let Captain Hines say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you. It's great to be back here, and as we've said before, Adams for reaching out and allowing us to reach in, and really allowing, since the 14 years since 9/11, to really feel this progress. The outreach and the partnerships are now friendships, and that's a good thing. We can build and expand on that, and I'm happy to be a part of that. Not just acknowledging each other, but actively supporting each other, and that's what I think this is about today. And I'm happy to be a part of that. And as the sheriff said, it's great to be here with my fellow law enforcement and emergencies management, federal, state, and local level, and elected officials, and the ones running for office. Thank you for your dedication on behalf of the sheriff's office. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Sheriff Chapman, Captain Hines, for your leadership, your dedication, and commitment to great relations with the community and your sacrifice to serve our county and our country. Now we will have Imam Majid do the call to prayer, and after that we will have a break for prayer, and then we will come back after prayer to continue the dinner as well as the recognitions of our national, regional, and local law enforcement and first responders.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Thank you, Imam Majid, for calling the call to prayer. Just so you know the translation, and we'll begin as a Muslim community to go up for prayer. Basically, what Imam Majid recited was, God is the greatest, God is the greatest, God is the greatest, God is the greatest. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except for God. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except for God. I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of God. I bear witness that Muhammad is a messenger of God. Also, come to prayer, come to prayer, come to success, come to success. God is the greatest, God is the greatest. There's no deity worthy of worship except for God Almighty. Thank you again for joining us for the 14th Annual Peace Gathering and Law Enforcement Appreciation. Earlier this evening, we heard from interfaith leaders, we heard from government officials, we recognized candidates, and now we also recognize 2 law enforcement agencies in the Loudoun County Fire and Rescue and Emergency Services, as well as the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. We appreciate their dedication and sacrifice. We will now recognize national, regional, and local law enforcement and first responders. And I have fellow board members and leaders in our community that will help me in recognizing our law enforcement agencies and first responders. We will first start off with the FBI. We'll start off nationally. The Federal Bureau of Investigations. We appreciate their leadership, their national efforts in national security and making sure that they're countering terrorism, that they're protecting civil rights, and protecting our whole country. We have a long-standing partnership with the FBI. Starting after the horrific attacks of 9/11, an Arab Muslim Sikh Advisory Committee was formed that was there to create better communications and partnership between the FBI as well as the Arab Muslim and Sikh community to prevent hate crimes. And we also work together for national security. And that is something that is so important. And partnerships are key. And I would say the FBI headquarters and FBI Washington field office has worked with us over the many years to that end, and we truly appreciate that. We're honored to have leadership from both the FBI headquarters and FBI Washington field office here today. And I will ask them to come up here, and then Imam Majid will say a few reflections and present them the awards. And we have representing the FBI headquarters, the Associate Deputy Director. He is the 3rd now ranking officer of the FBI overall, Andrew McCabe. He used to be the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI Washington field office. And we now have also his successor to the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI Washington field office, Paul Abate. And I want to just tell you a little bit about both. Director McCabe, came into this community over a year ago and really energized the partnership and did town hall meetings with us, and we appreciate his leadership and dedication. And Mr. Paul Abate used to be with the WFO, and then he went to Detroit. And I was in Detroit just a month ago. My family and I were there visiting for a scouting event, and I saw in the newspaper amazing remarks about Director Paul Abate and his relationship with the Dearborn and the Detroit community. And so both of these leaders are amazing leaders. We appreciate their dedication to outreach. They're also joined by Sarah Saenz, who is the outreach specialist, and also Special Agent Woody Woodson, who's also been instrumental in this partnership. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Imam Majid to say a few words and read the awards for both the headquarters and the Washington field office, and then we'll love to hear from both these wonderful leaders in the enduring partnership for national security, civil rights. We appreciate it very much. And now I give you Imam Muhammad Majid. You read both.
As Ridwan have just mentioned, that this relationship goes a long way, and we have worked together with other organizations in the field office addressing the issue of counter-violence extremism as well as the issue of civil rights in Muslim community. Therefore, I will read. First, I would like to congratulations for the promotion. I think somebody did some right things in the government. It reads, in appreciation of your distinguished service and tireless dedication, All Dallas Area Muslim Society recognized FBI headquarters this 13th day of September 2015.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for having us here tonight. It is truly an honor. It's always an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to come to the Adams Center. You are truly one of our strongest and most resolute partners in the community, and we appreciate that so deeply. When I came to the Washington field office a year ago, one of the first places I came was out here to the Adams Center to meet with Imam Majid and Rizwan and the entire team. And I pledged at that time that we would reinvigorate the partnership between the Washington field office and the Adams Center. And I am happy to say that we have done that over this year, and I am doing that even more so now by bringing you somebody better than myself. So Paula Bate. I'll be moving on to headquarters, but I am not very far away, of course, just down in D.C., and you will be in such incredibly good hands with Paula Bate, who is a dear, dear friend of mine. We've been agents together since we came into the FBI in New York City many years ago. We've served together in many positions. I could not be more confident in handing over the reins of this very precious relationship to anybody else in the FBI. So thank you for everything that you've done for me and for the FBI over this last year and over these many years, and thanks again for having us tonight.
Now I do the field office. In appreciation of your distinguished service and tireless dedication, All Dallas Area Muslim Society recognized FBI Washington field office this 13th day of September 2015. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Imam Majid, and thank you, Rizwan, and thank you to the board and everyone. What a great opportunity. The timing was perfect. This was literally my first week back to the great Washington field office in this area. As Rizwan mentioned, I spent the last 2 years approximately in the Detroit area in Michigan serving the citizens out there. And I've got this wonderful opportunity to come back here to the Washington field office where I served before going out to Michigan. So like Andy said, this is just a tremendous opportunity for me. We did so much, I think, in Michigan while we were there to reach out to all communities and build the relationships, which is essential to the work that we do. When I think about what we do, the essence of it is it's all of our concern, keeping people safe, keeping all of you safe, keeping your family safe, and keeping our community safe. And we cannot do that without building trusting relationships and cooperation between and among all of this, for all of us. So for that, I thank you. I promise you my commitment to you is to sustain what Andy and the team here has done in the recent past and build upon that even more so. So thank you. Thank you again to all of you, to the community for this great honor, and on behalf of the Washington field office and the great employees of that office, it's a privilege to receive this award. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Associate Deputy Director Andy McCabe and Assistant Director in Charge Paula Bate, as well as Outreach Specialist Sarah Sines. Appreciate your service and sacrifice to our country. Thank you to your families as well. Dear brothers and sisters, now we would like to invite up the representatives. We have actually Lieutenant Sair Ahmed, member of our community, representing the Herndon Police Department, representing Chief Maggie DeBoard. We appreciate his over 20 years of service to Herndon, to Fairfax County, and to our country. And we're honored to recognize the Herndon Police Department. I will ask our Vice President, Sohail Ahmed, to read the plaque and present this award to the Herndon Police Department.
Thank you, Brother Rizwan. On behalf of Adams, we really, truly like to appreciate our law enforcement for their true dedication to save our country and save our community. On this day, in appreciation of your distinguished service and tireless dedication, all Dallas Area Muslim Society recognizes Herndon Police Department this 13th day of September 2015.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you. I'm here representing our chief, Colonel Magadi Board, who was not able to attend tonight. We have known the Adams Center for a very long time when they were on Grove Street in Herndon, so we've had a good relationship with them. I am obviously, some people have seen me around here before. They think I look familiar. I come here a lot. My kids are here. I just try to keep a low profile like a lot of the other officers here. You know, just a little story about myself. You know, I became a cop, it's been 20 years now, but I really did not become a cop because of my faith. It was because, and I'm dating myself, I used to love the show Chips when I was a kid, and people thought I looked like Erica Estrada. I don't have the hair, but that's why I became, you know, the love of service, trying to be a good person and helping people. That's where my love of law enforcement came from. And I also believe that my faith has actually made me become a police officer. I was at a retirement party not too long ago for one of our sergeants, and some of these officers know what happens at retirement parties, a lot of drinking. And the officer said, hey, you know, you're not drinking, have you ever drank? And I said, no, I haven't. And that's because of my faith. It's kept me on the straight path, and that's the reason I'm an officer today. So, you know, we in Herndon, we have a great relationship with our community, even though with all the national events that are occurring around the nation, but it's still good to be a police officer in this area, and I'm sure all of my fellow officers that are here from the different regions will share my sentiments in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Sai Ahmed. We appreciate your service and sacrifice. Thank you to you and your family, and we appreciate that very much. Even his family members are a part of our Adams community. As I mentioned, his brother, Amir Ahmed. Raise your hand, Brother Amir. He is our development director here at the Adams Center, serving the community. His other brother is the director of the Adams Compassionate Healthcare Network, a free clinic to help all those in need that are uninsured or underinsured. So all three brothers are in service of their communities. We appreciate that very much. So thank you all. Now we would like to invite up and recognize the Fairfax County Police Department. We have Assistant Commander Lance Scheibel from the Reston Police Department Station of the Fairfax County Police Department, and we appreciate he joining us here. We thank him and his family for their sacrifice to the Fairfax County, to Reston, and to our country. And I will ask Sister Priscilla Martinez to read the plaque for Fairfax County Police Department.
I think I'm the only one up here who won't have trouble with the mic going down. In appreciation of your distinguished service and tireless dedication, the All Dulles Area Muslim Society recognizes the Fairfax County Police Department on this 13th day of September 2015.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Adams Center on behalf of Chief Rossler and the men and women of the Fairfax County Police Department, first and foremost for honoring our fallen brothers and sisters who died on September 11th, 2001. Also like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts in an age right now where I think law enforcement's taking a little bit of a beating. Thank you for recognizing the efforts of all of the officers and all the jurisdictions involved, you know, for supporting the community. So that's greatly appreciated. I said to two of the officers the other day, two young kids who had found a fishing hole, I said, you guys are just like Ponch and John. And they looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, you will find out who those people are, and you'll report back to me tomorrow. And sure enough, they came in, and the one kid said to me, he goes, those were two old cops in California. I'm like, so anyway, and personally, I'd like to thank you for the incredible spread that you put out for the food today. That was very, very nice. So thank you all very, very much.
This one, right?
Thank you, Assistant Commander. Appreciate your words and reflections, and definitely a lot of CHIPS references today. So, no, but thank you so much. We appreciate it very much. Now, dear brothers and sisters, we would like to recognize the Sterling Volunteer Rescue Squad and the Sterling Volunteer Fire Company, and we would request Mr. Short, David Short, to please join us up here. And he is representing specifically the Sterling Volunteer Fire Company, although both of them are together in the Sterling Volunteer Rescue Squad. I'm going to ask Brother Ahsanullah to read the plaque for Sterling Volunteer Fire Company, and Brother Bob Morrow to read the plaque for Sterling Volunteer Rescue Squad. And Brother Ahsan is a board member as well as the chair of our security committee and a Boy Scout commissioner. We appreciate his leadership. And then, you know, Brother Bob Morrow, board member and chair of government relations.
Thank you. George and I think you're new, right? You're taking over this area new, right?
No, we've been here a while.
Oh, okay. So I give him a tour about Adams Center because he was saying that you'd be
I've just never been inside the building.
Okay, that's right. So they've been very helpful. Like 3 days ago, our flag got stuck. We called them. They came in with the ladder on. They took the flag out for us. Thank you very much. So I'm going to read the plaque. In appreciation of your distinguished service and tireless dedication, the All Dallas Area Muslim Society recognizes Sterling Volunteer Fire Company this 13th day of September 2015. Thank
you. Chief Graham, I know, loves being here at the Dulles, Dulles Center, and he wasn't able to make it this year, so he asked me to come and accept this in his place. I am a member of the Sterling Volunteer Fire Company, emphasis on volunteer. By that I mean I'm a member of this community. All the people who are members of my department and my sister department, the Sterling Volunteer Rescue Squad, they're all your neighbors. You are our neighbors. We are you. You are us. And so it means a lot when I get this recognition from y'all. So I wish to thank y'all very much for this.
And in recognition of the distinguished service and dedication, the All Dallas Area Muslim Society recognizes the Sterling Volunteer Rescue Squad this 13th day of September 2015. We wish you all the best and hope that we never have to see you professionally here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. We appreciate, again, your volunteerism, your sacrifice in serving the community in both the Sterling Volunteer Fire Company as well as representing the Sterling Volunteer Rescue Squad as well. Truly appreciate it. Now, just want to make sure that I didn't miss anyone from the Ashburn Fire or Fairfax County Fire or Prince William County Police Department. Just want to make sure someone didn't come in a stealth mode. Okay. All right, so then with that, we have one more recognition of a interfaith award that we would like to present. I'm going to ask Sister Farhanaz, our interfaith director, to present this award. And this is a very important award as we recognize various interfaith accomplishments every year as well. And so I give you now Sister Farhanaz Ellis, our interfaith director, and the board member of Loudoun Interfaith Bridges.
Once, few years ago, I remember reading a phrase that has stayed with me the whole while, and it is that every human being has three types of family. The family we are born in, the family that is born from us, and then the family that life gives us. And Adams Center in general, and me particularly, feel very, very blessed that life, God, has given us this family member that understands us, that loves us, and that walks with us every step. This person is a very, very special individual, and it's really an honor for me to call tonight Brother Charles Stevenson. Surprise! In appreciation of your friendship and commitment to interfaith harmony and community service, the All Dulles Area Muslim Society recognizes our brother Charles Stevenson this 13th day of September 2015.
I'll just say I'm completely surprised and amazed, and I have seen so many wonderful role models, Sister Farnaz not the least of them. Now I've got something to live up to. I better get to work. God bless us all. Thank you, Sister Farnaz.
Thank you, Brother Charles. As I mentioned, living and representing the Christian faith and part of our Adams community and civic engagement team. I'd like to ask past honorees to stand. Andrea Barron is a past honoree. If you could please stand with the Washington Area Jews for Jewish Muslim Understanding. We had recognized her and her organization several years ago. And also, I saw Sister Rima Mal. If you could please stand, representing the Pakistani Christian community. Also a past honoree representing the Pakistan American community and Reach Out International as we work together for religious freedom for our brothers and sisters that are Christians and other citizens of Pakistan. So thank you both for your leadership and your dedication.
People are going to be very, very pleased and very grateful, and they already love Adams. What a great feeling to get a Happy Rosh Hashanah message from Adams. So I'm going to share that with everybody. So.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you so much. And we did hit sunset, so Lashana Tova, Happy New Year to our Jewish brothers and sisters. And so now, dear brothers and sisters, I'm going to ask Brother Bob to come back up, and we want to recognize our candidates that are here to say a few words. We appreciate their courage in running for office, and Brother Bob will introduce them to say some concluding remarks, and then we will end with a prayer from Imam Majid. So here's Brother Bob Morrow.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask all the candidates to come on up so we can save as much time as possible. We do want to end as quickly as we can. What we'll do is we'll go alphabetically and just have a very, very brief introduction and then whatever thoughts you would like to share with us. As Danny's coming up, I'd just like to say, we've had people talking about all of these seminal moments of disasters and things that you will remember for the rest of your life. I think events like this might help turn the tide so that instead of remembering those tragedies, we can remember the very happy events. In my case, I'll never forget the day that I met my wife. I hope that that's an inspiration for others, that they have similarly positive attitudes and positive memories that they think about and not just the negatives. So we're going to go alphabetically. Right now we're going to start with Jennifer Boysko, who's running for the delegate in the 86th District. Jennifer?
Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate you all hosting us once again. I started coming to the Adams Center and made some very good friends way before I got involved in thinking that I would ever run for office. 2003, 2004, I started organizing and doing community events with friends from the Adams Center because this is the place where people really matter, really take action and live your faith. I'm the daughter of an Episcopal priest. He taught me social justice was a #1 priority, and it is always my pleasure to join you all. Thank you so much.
Next, Bettina Lawton, running for County Clerk in the County of Fairfax.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm also running for clerk in Fairfax City, so anybody in Fairfax County or Fairfax City can actually vote for me. And I was very pleased in talking about happy memories that particularly involve the Adams Center. Some of you know that I have a television show, and I was so pleased. I had Brother Bob on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he did a beautiful job representing the community and talking about the work, the outreach to law enforcement and to other faith communities. And he did an absolutely wonderful job. And I'm sure if you search his name on YouTube, you will find that and you can watch it. It was truly a wonderful show. Chief Ed Rossler, who's the Chief of Police in Fairfax County, was on with us, and we had a great time together.
Thank you, Bettina. Next, we have Dr. Jill McCabe, running for Senate in the 13th District, sorry.
Thank you. I'm running for State Senate in District 13. That includes a large portion of Loudoun County and part of Prince William counties. I'm also a pediatric emergency room physician, and I have the great honor of working with first responders, both from the law enforcement community and the medics every day. I see the important role that they have in this community, and I honor the work they do, so I thank you for that. I'm also totally inspired tonight by seeing all the different faith-based leaders working alongside law enforcement officers, first responders, and politicians. I truly believe to prevent anything like 9/11 from happening again, we need to work towards more inclusion and less discrimination. Thank you.
Next, back to the House of Delegates, Elizabeth Liz Miller.
Assalamu alaikum. I will keep this short because I just can't help it. I'm running for the 32nd District, which is entirely within Loudoun County. It's Ashburn, Lansdowne, and Broadlands, and I was so happy to see several people from that district here tonight. And my memories of 9/11 are mostly of not just the emotion, but the weather that we had that day, that beautiful, clear blue sky and sort of a crisp fall day. And the 11th this year was exactly like it. And I think that it really felt visceral, that the day will never fade in our memories. And I'm so glad that this event happens every year too, because it brings us together. It makes us remember the good things about the aftermath of 9/11 on how we all joined together. And thank you so much.
Staying with the House of Delegates, honored to welcome Craig Pariseau in the 34th District for the House of Delegates.
Thank you. So 14 years ago, I was a captain in the United States Air Force stationed in California, but I happened to be on vacation in North Carolina, and I woke to the horror of that day, feeling stranded as all aircraft traffic was grounded, and I wasn't able to get back to my duty station. And so for about 6 days, I was in North Carolina with some friends, and we just could not sit idle. So what we did is we started going door to door and calling all of our friends in the area and say, what do you need? What can we do to help? And we were mowing lawns of neighbors and friends, is just doing anything that we could. And so what 9/11 has turned into me, to Bob's comments about making it more of a positive opportunity, is it's turned into a day of service. And so what we did this year is when we woke and spent a little bit of time with our families, then my campaign and we went to all the fire stations that service my district, and we went and we just brought them some goodies and some sweet treats and said, thank you very much for your service. And I'm just so moved by the community, so appreciative of our law enforcement and our first responders. It takes a really special kind of person to go towards a tragedy rather than run from it, because quite often they have very little knowledge of what awaits them on the other end. But it doesn't slow them down one bit, it actually speeds them up. And I just am so proud and so thankful that we have people like that are willing to do that job in our community, and they should be heralded and applauded at every opportunity. So thank you, Adams, for doing this, and I just want that community to know you've got my 100% support in all cases. Thank you.
The disadvantage of having a name that starts with V is that you end up at the end of the alphabet. But certainly, although last, certainly not least, I'm delighted to welcome Danny Vargas, who's also running for the House of Delegates in the 86th District.
Thank you, Bob. And we happen to be standing in the 86th District right now in this room. Assalamu alaikum. Y muy buenas noches, damas y caballeros. I will say to you that I want to thank the Adams Center for having this wonderful commemoration of not only the victims that we lost 14 years ago, but also the first responders who sacrificed so much to save so many lives that day. And they do it to this day. So we want to thank the first responders, and we acknowledge the families of the victims that we lost that day. I will tell you that I grew up in New York City. And I remember as a little boy watching the Twin Towers being built. So it was particularly painful to me to see 14 years ago when those buildings came down and all of the thousands of innocent people that were killed that day in that building, and the people that were killed in the Pentagon, and the people that died in Pennsylvania. And it made me think of the oceans of tears and pain and agony at the same time that we also saw the rising up of mountains of courage and love and sacrifice and unity. So as we look forward to the future, we want to remember, we want to never forget the people that we lost that day. We never want to forget the evil that was inflicted upon us, but we also want to remember that sense of unity, that we came together, all of us together, focused on a better future for our families, for our communities, and for our country and for our world. Let's always remember that sense of unity as we come together. Thank you all very much for all you do, and thank you to the Adams Center. God bless you.
Thank you all very much. Just as a reminder, both to our audience and to the candidates, the Eid al-Adha will be probably, I think, is the 24th, most probably the 24th. And we will be having our Eid prayers, and we invite all of the candidates, all the officials to come and join us at the various respective prayers. We'll probably have about 25 different prayer sites, locations, times, etc. We'll be sending out that information, but we'd be pleased to have you. The crowds actually will be very, very significant that day. So please think about joining us. All right, Rizwan?
Thank you, Brother Bob. Thank you, our candidates. Again, thank you to the officials, to law enforcement and first responders. Again, as on behalf of the Adams Board, we truly appreciate our first responders, law enforcement, working together for national security as well as civil rights. And we look forward to taking this beacon, and it's an example for the country and for the world of our wonderful law enforcement at national, regional, and local levels. And this is the resilience that we show after the horrific attacks of 9/11, and this is the way we remember the victims of 9/11. We come together as Americans, as Virginians, to strengthen our country and strengthen our world with peace, harmony, respect, and love. With that, dear brothers and sisters, Imam Majid will close us off with a supplication and the final call to prayer for today. Peace be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ridwan. I'd like to tell you that we have also first responders in our community, in the Adams community. Are these two guys here behind me, and the Civic Engagement Committee. They respond to the community call, and they are the one who really build relationships, and they're volunteering their time and dedication. So I'd like to thank them for what they're doing. As I conclude that the night, I would like us always to think about many people are losing their life as we speak in Syria, in other parts of the world. And we thank God Almighty for being here in a community that's safe and being protected. I spoke overseas in one of the conferences. I said to them, I can criticize the President of the United States, and I go home and I sleep peacefully in my home without worried about somebody knocking my door and arrest me because I disagree with the president. This is not something that we should take lightly or take for granted. We should thank God Almighty for the freedom that we have here, and we have responsibility to help other people who are suffering around the world. May God Almighty help all of us, thank you, to be the agent of good and help all of us to represent the best of our community. May God bless all of you. Have a very beautiful night and peaceful night, and spread the peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.